Hey, awesome students, your Unit 3 exam is coming up, right? So you want to make sure you review. Hopefully you saw the other review video that I made like a year ago. I just checked. I went through the exam. I looked at the review video. It matches up, right? So you can see I have a full house here after school today. I would have been going over that more. So what I'm going to do is just a quick rundown. Anything that maybe I thought wasn't stressed enough in the video or didn't really mention, I'll go through that now. It's just going to be me and the board. I hope it's not mirror imaged when it does this. We'll find out. But at first, a good place to start is just know, do you know the amendments, right? So you don't need to know every single amendment for this unit, but the ones we discussed, make sure you know them. So when we go over the first, that doesn't show up very well. First off, know what the Bill of Rights is about, right? So the first 10 amendments that were added to the Constitution, these are rights that are considered to be fundamental. No one can take them from you. You can't vote away should people have free speech or not, right? It's just something that can't be legislated away from you. So then in those Bill of Rights, we have our First Amendment. Is that better? And we know that the First Amendment is the 5 freedoms. Make sure you know what those 5 freedoms are, right? The 2 parts of the freedom of speech, right? Establishment clause and free exercise clause. Uh, that's religion. Did I say 2 parts of speech? So speech, those 2 parts of religion, assembly, petition, grievances. What did I not say? Press, assembly, religion, speech, petition, grievances, right? So you want to know those and know some examples of each of them. So if we think of the second, the 2 parts of the freedom of religion in the First Amendment, right? So we have, right, religion breaks off into 2 parts: the free exercise clause and the establishment clause. The establishment clause prohibited Congress from establishing a state religion. What Supreme Court case do we discuss about that? Well, we know we have Engel v. Vattel, which in New York said you can no longer read prayer like that in schools in that way, school sanctioned prayer. You can pray on your own in many cases. I was just reading for a Religious Freedom in America seminar I'm going to I was just reading the holding of Engel Vitel and actually looking at it next to Washington's farewell address, and do they contradict each other? That doesn't help you prepare for the exam, but if that's a discussion you want to have with me, we can do that. So just know it's still, all these things are still debated today. Let's think. We have freedom of speech in the First Amendment. Where can we think of that? We can think of Tinker v. Des Moines, right, where the students were protesting the Vietnam War with that black armband. Notice they didn't say anything, they didn't write anything, it wasn't a word, right? So symbolic speech is included in speech. All right, so as we go through the amendments, we have right to bear arms, right? And we get all sorts of things, quartering, search and seizure. Fifth Amendment is one of those court or justice type amendments. Fifth Amendment says, you can't testify, you don't have to testify against yourself when people say, hey, I plead the fifth. Double jeopardy. That's also where the Miranda rights come from. The Miranda rights, that's not mentioned in the Bill of Rights, but the whole right to remain silent, right? They said that comes out of the Fifth Amendment. We have the Sixth Amendment. The right to an attorney is included in the Sixth Amendment. What's the big court case we learned there? We learned that's Gideon Wainwright. Let's see. Seventh Amendment, another justice one. Eighth Amendment, that's another big justice amendment. Eighth Amendment, no cruel or unusual punishment. I remember this because if I ate someone, that would be cruel and unusual punishment, right? Can't do that. That's not a way you can punish somebody. So that includes things, a debate here. What the big debate is the death penalty considered cruel or unusual punishment? So far, the Supreme Court says no, it's not. I think in the review video, I mentioned the death penalty for the Boston bomber. There's been another big death penalty case this week. Cantu, is that his name? I guess new evidence shows that maybe he is innocent. They're trying to get an extension in his stay. I think it's out of Texas. Even the Kardashians are like posting about it. So go look that up if you want to waste time from your studying. But this is good that you're learning about this, right? Um, with all these amendments, these justice amendments, think of how technology has sort of changed the way we've interpreted them over time. Heck, even this week, we're seeing with the First Amendment and social media, right? How does that change the game? Search and seizure, which is number 4, right? How does technology change that, right? I think I may have mentioned the court case where like cops were using infrared cameras outside someone's home to see if they were having heat lamps, which may have suggested that they were growing marijuana. Is that an invasion of privacy with that technology, right? That wouldn't have existed decades ago. But as technology gets more invasive, does that change how we interpret search and seizure, privacy? Supreme Court has been continuously ruling on cases like this. So um, that's worth reflecting on as well. Let's go down to the 14th Amendment, right? We have the Reconstruction Amendments. 13 frees slaves. 14 sort of shares the rights, so to speak. It's almost like the second revolution, as some people say, with the 14th Amendment. 15th gives all men the right to vote, regardless of race or previous servitude. Uh, but 14th has several parts. Remember the part where it's taking a right that's enshrined and it passes it down, says, no, state governments, you have to recognize this. Local governments, you have to incorporate this. That's called incorporation. Incorporation, it makes it happen. That's from Sesame Street. It was cooperation. It makes it happen. But we'll say incorporation, right? It makes it happen, gives the rights to people all through the states and local government. Like we said, McDonald v. Chicago says, hey, the Second Amendment is incorporated. Chicago has to protect people's rights to bear arms. We also saw, let's see, what else we saw with the 14th Amendment? We saw Brown v. Board, right? Brown v. Board. That is the Equal Protection Clause, right? That, hey, when students are being discriminated against because of segregation, right? Segregation is not equal. The Brown v. Board overturned the precedent of Plessy versus Ferguson that said separate but equal. They said, no, the 14th Amendment says that's not possible. Now my computer's probably going to die right in the middle of this. So you want to know that, equal protection with Brown v. Board. How else did we try to incorporate some of those rights that the 14th Amendment wanted to enshrine? Well, the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act of, come with me while I plug in my computer. Civil Rights Act of 1964. We learned about Title IX. I don't know if there is a question on Title IX on the exam, but hey, you're definitely going to want to know that when you're tested in May. Hey, that run. Hey, you want to know that when you're tested in May about Title IX for not gender orientation. That really wasn't a big debate or controversy in the 70s, but for gender, right? Equal access for both sexes, so to speak. What else do we need to know? The 19th Amendment. 19th Amendment that gave women the right to vote. We just had a 100-year celebration of that in COVID, so we didn't really get to celebrate it because we were in lockdown. That's a big one. You need to know. Poll tax. You don't need to know about poll taxes until the 4th or 5th unit, so that's good. I think we really covered everything. Make sure you watch the other video. This is a quick run through. Go through your notes. Look through the multiple choice questions that we put on the board. Some of these questions you've seen in previous quizzes and things like that. So we got this, Unit 3. Go big or go home. See ya.